told you. Give me space and I'm in a good place. Very serious, mysterious, mind makes right. In for the fight. Starlight out on low. Starlight out on low. Starlight out low. Cosmic soldier. Give me space and I'm in a good place. Very serious, mysterious, mind makes right. In for the fight. Starlight out low. Starlight out low.
What is up, everybody? I'm just sharing the stream out again. I'm actually at the homie's house, so I'm on my desktop that I'm letting them borrow. And because of that, all of my bookmarks where I have my Discord and I can quickly just copy paste the link, I actually have to go into these individual Discords and share it because I hate going to people's Discords and not sharing places in the right spot. Like most people have a shill your shit, like self-promotion, and the fact that they allow people to do it, I try to follow the rules. But whenever I switch from computer to computer, it is ass. Happy New Year, Becca. What's up, Sasquatch? What's up, Freedom Grower? If y'all want to share the stream around as well, get us going, that would be awesome. I'm here with Chuck. Chuckaroo.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen.
Speaking of Discord, I just noticed I got kicked from someone's Discord, which is quite funny to me.
Really?
Yeah, you can guess who it is. It's the person I don't want to talk to.
He who shall remain nameless.
Oh, you can name him. I don't care. I'm just not
I
going to
just
talk.
fucking with you.
I'm just not going to give the dude an interview to talk about my drama when I'm fucking dealing with a bunch of bullshit, and it's fucking shitty for him to ask.
And he should know that from his situation.
Well, you want to critique somebody like when they're going through hell on like petty, mild critiques after you fucked up and did something shitty. Like I even try to tell him I don't hate him. I just don't want to talk right now.
It's easier to kick a man when he's down than it is to reach down and help him up.
People ain't got to help me if they don't want to. They just ain't got to be shitbags either.
Well, I'm just saying that's human mentality for some reason anymore.
I wouldn't call these people humans.
Ugh.
But we are live from the homie's house. I'm actually on my desktop. We're going to talk a little bit about SpaceX. I can't wait for Not Laws and the Elon haters to come in. I really hope they're already here because like they were talking mad shit about the rockets and shit not working and how they failed. And like they're already almost done. Like they're testing the last pieces of the boosters today that they need to actually get the tonnage up for the supply missions to the ISS and the potential moon base. And they're getting ready. Both NASA with Artemis and SpaceX is getting ready to launch to the moon for their own respective purpose. Like Artemis 3, I think it is. They're getting ready to actually put boots back on the moon. So that's going to be fucking awesome. I don't know if that's coming this year or if it's coming but it's supposed to be here by 2030. SpaceX is getting ready to. They changed it up a little bit. Happy New Year, Stanley. How you doing? They're getting ready to. I forgot to pin the StreamYard link because I ran a little bit behind on sharing it out in the Discord. So let me get that shared. But SpaceX is getting ready to. It'll be covered in the video in more detail, but they're getting ready to um, start doing their resupply. I think they have a contract to resupply the International Space Station. I'm not sure, but they're getting ready to do the docking. Because when me and you talk about the space exploration, I keep mentioning the infrastructure they're going to need. Basically, they're going to have to build the gas stations and get the fuel supply lines running before they actually start even colonizing or building research stations on the moon or in space. And let me make sure, is that you, Stanley?
Yeah, it's me.
Welcome to the show. But like I
How you
mentioned, they're
doing?
gonna have to. I'm actually doing quite well.
Chuck, how are you?
I think Chuck is a little bit away from his computer.
Oh, that's fine.
But
What
before,
did I do?
oh, Stanley asked how you were, and you was like,
Oh,
just
I
radio
didn't hear
silence.
him. Hey, I'm an old man. I didn't hear him. Pardon me. I'm doing good, Stanley, and I hope you're
Happy
doing
New
good.
Year.
Happy New Year, sir. He's a little soft.
That was kind
Yeah,
of.
I might have to adjust my mic.
There, that's better.
And before we get into it, I'm gonna do the grifting a little early because of the fire. So we finally do have the GoFundMe fundraiser up. So if you guys want to donate to that and help your boy OG out with the rebuild, um, the link is right there. I'm not gonna pin it because if you want to help, I appreciate it. I don't want to bother those who don't want to or can't. And if you can't, please keep me in your prayers. And if you don't mind, share that link out. If you don't want to, I understand. It's not nobody's obligated to do anything. So, but for those of you who donate, I appreciate it. For those of you who just watch and like the stream, I appreciate it. So getting back to it, they're starting to build the infrastructure, and I'm really excited about it. So we're gonna watch a little bit of this video. I found it on um, Elon Musk's SpaceX.
A mission that will make SpaceX history. It doesn't just reflect the hard-earned lessons from 11 test flights over nearly 2 years. It also proves the aggressive new upgrades SpaceX has rolled out across the entire system. From Super Heavy and Starship to the launch pad and Massey's site, everything has been upgraded with one goal in mind: hitting 100% of SpaceX's bold objectives for 2026. So, what exactly makes Flight 12 so special? Let's break it down in today's episode of Alpha Tech. SpaceX just sparked fresh excitement across the space community with a new road closure update, because this one is packed with clues. The description clearly says production to Massey's. Even more interesting, the road closure runs from midnight all the way to 4 a.m. And typically, when SpaceX shuts down the road during those hours, it means they're moving something big.
Then there
something
was two of them. Welcome, Chuck 2.
Uh-oh. Throw the first one out. I don't know what happened. I got lost in the nethers.
All right.
large enough to block the entire road. And yes, that something is likely Booster 19 or Ship 39, the two vehicles expected to make history on Starship Flight 12. But in reality, that wasn't the case. What SpaceX actually rolled out was a ship aft test section, specifically a two-ring barrel section with a can crusher interface.
Good day, Vividness. How are you doing? Happy Gregorian New Year. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
It's meant to be stacked onto B18.3, a Block 3 booster test article currently waiting at Massey's. That said, progress on the Flight 12 is still moving fast, since these test tanks are ultimately meant to reflect how the real flight vehicles will behave. If everything lines up, we could be looking at a late January launch, the moment when we finally see the full scale of the upgrades SpaceX has quietly rolled out over the past year. To really understand that progress, we need to start with Starship itself, the vehicle meant to handle Starlink launches, orbital refueling, and eventually carry hundreds of tons of payload to the Moon and Mars. And because those missions are so demanding, SpaceX has quietly focused on improving overall stability in Starship V3.
That's all I wanted to cover on that and show that, because once this particular rocket or these two rockets, once they're fully tested and operational, they're going to start producing different variants, for different cargo needs. And that's really when you're going to see the privatization of space kick off, which I am all here for. That's going to be amazing, personally.
My question is, who's going to regulate a worldwide mess?
See, I don't want regulation, but you do have to have regulation, because if you don't, you're going to end up with a bunch of fucking space junk orbiting our planet.
Yeah,
Thank
that's what
you
I'm
very
afraid of.
much, Peace Dynamo. Thank you for sharing out the GoFundMe link. But no, that's actually a problem, because when it's orbiting the Earth, it's flying at thousands of miles per hour and making contact at 1,000 miles per hour. No matter how big it is, it's very,
17,000 miles per hour, exactly.
well, it's very dangerous. The kinetic force and damage. My bad. Yes, I'm sorry, Becca. Thank you for sharing it out. Happy New Year, Carney. Thank you guys. But the damage that so have you ever read up on the thought experiment of like what would happen if a grain of sand or rice hit the Earth going light speed? It would destroy the planet. Something that small going that fast. What's up, Grid? And I just think that it's funny, because like the leftist folks, the Elon haters, just because it's Elon, and that's why I'm glad. Like, I sent Dennison the link, because he
They
points that. Go ahead.
they don't like not laws them. They don't understand research and development on a project.
Yeah,
Apparently,
yeah. That's what Dennison was saying, but it's also more so the politics behind it, which is fucking retarded. Like these people, if you don't like them, they could cure cancer, and you'd be like, it doesn't work, and it's like, but people are being cured, you know?
Let me ask you a question, because
yeah,
I
but
am
he made
certainly
it.
not. I am certainly not an Elon fan.
Hmm.
What's the point of whether you like Elon or whether you don't like Elon? Let's not concentrate on him. Let's concentrate on what is the point.
That's kind of what Dennison was getting to, right? The technology, that whether you like him or not, or whether you want to argue on if he's inventing it, or his company is inventing it, or if he's usurping it from other people, he's investing in it. He is the reason that this is coming to market and these things are happening. And
And my point is, why is there even a market for going to the moon? I honestly don't see the point.
well, the so the main reason for space is resource allocation, and more natural resources, right? The asteroid belts and the potential resource on the moon, like helium-3 is something. Yeah, Sasquatch H3, helium-3. That's something that can make fusion much more efficient, and if it's
Well,
possible for us to do fission.
fusion doesn't exist
Okay, so
outside of stars.
well, that okay. So I got it mixed up. So it can make fission more efficient, and if it is possible for human, and I was about to say, if it's I misspoke on them, but fusion, if it is possible for humans to make a energy source doing that, and there has been some promising studies with, or some promising experiments with the EU and the US and China to make a fusion reactor. H3 would make that possible, and it would make fission much more efficient. And that's why they would want to mine helium-3 off the surface of the moon, because they know it's up there. It's not even theorized. And with the low gravity, it would make building more complex ships and launching them into space much more cost effective and easier, even if you have to move the natural resource and the manufactured goods to build them to the moon, it would make it that much more cheaper. Not that it would be cheap, but and that creates new industries around the privatization of space and having space stations around both the moon and the Earth, and it
Well,
allows us to
not
even start.
wanting to not want to be disagreeable on New Year's Day. You haven't convinced me that there's a point. Yeah, there's more stuff to mine. There's more stuff to make money off of. Yeah, I understand that. Capitalism is why. Um,
Yeah, pretty much.
you could literally say it in a few words. I don't think that I just think that there really is no point. Cost effective after spending probably trillions to get to that point. I don't see the cost effectiveness there. But I mean,
Well,
it's just my opinion.
well, I mean, you're a smart man. You know that once these industries take off and they start being a thing, they're going to start trying to be efficient. They're going to start trying to be cost effective and economical. And as the privatization of space continues, you're going to have to be more cost effective and more efficient. Like you're going to bleed money at first. If you study, and you do, and if you disagree, I know you'll tell me. So will Chuck. But if you study human history, research and development has typically been from one of two things: either large government subsidies or young men who are intelligent who see a problem and want to be more efficient to go in their garage because they have capital and time, and they research a solution, or they build a solution, or they build a new technology. Research and development for big corporations is very rarely profitable, and the only time that it really is profitable is when they can patent it and hold it back to keep their current IPs being more and more profitable in the long run. But due diligence does bring up a good point that I actually do disagree with, because I don't think that it's a smart move unless terraforming technology starts getting rapidly developed. But well, he says, Elon says this. Also, Elon says he wants Mars to, and that's not what he said. He said he says he wants Mars to be a backup planet in case Earth becomes uninhabitable. The problem with that is Mars is uninhabitable.
Well, let's not make
So is
Earth
the moon.
uninhabitable.
The moon's uninhabitable.
Well, I mean, so is Waterloo. Waterloo, Iowa is uninhabitable, but we still do manufacturing there.
Look, I actually think my disagreement is mainly because I think that Elon Musk's priorities are screwed up. And it's going to sound all hippy dippy and tree hugger or whatever you want to call it, but there are people starving on the earth. I think that's a bigger problem than H3 H3 from the moon.
There's
Uh,
nobody starving.
that can wait.
Let me welcome Dennison to the show. Is that you, Dennison?
Yo,
Yo,
Welcome, Dennison. And what's up, Craig? Big ups, Mr. Craig. Thank you. What the fuck? I'm at Waterloo. You would agree that it's uninhabitable. It is a hellscape, even. But like, I get that, right? But I see if nuclear becomes more profitable because it's more efficient because of H3, then that frees up resources for, say, food production. That the bigger and better your economy because of resource extraction and manufacturing. Is that you up, Arrow?
but making
Welcome to the show.
food is not a problem now. I
Well,
think what Stanley's pointing out is from the social perspective. Instead of building rockets, he wants to give everybody a T-bone steak.
No, actually, I don't want to give them T-bone steaks. I just don't want them to starve. I don't
There's
care.
nobody starving.
Okay,
Where are
listen,
people starving?
you know what? There are people starving on Earth.
What's up, Alawine?
Just go to places like Gaza. There are people dying to get food, by the way. And like I said, I'm not saying that going to the moon is bad in and of itself. I just have different priorities.
And that's fair. It takes all kind to build society, right? Because if we
Right.
hyper focus on fixing the world's problem, like fixing starving in places like Gaza, we end up neglecting things like space research. If we
Well, I
hyper
don't think
focus
space
on space
research is
research,
necessary. I think space research is a luxury. I don't think it's necessary.
I don't think it's a
And
luxury.
again, it's just again, different priorities. It's just a matter, I don't think going to space is bad. I just think that it shouldn't be the highest priority. But it's Elon's money. I'm not one to stand between, Elon and his dreams. Uh, I do have a problem with, the amount of support he gets from the government. It's not a purely private venture. Privatizing space is not a purely private uh, affair.
But yeah, just like the privatization of the oceans isn't purely private. There's still countries that subsidize their industries. There's still international law, and there will be new laws about space. As much as I hate it, but we are going to have regulations. We have to have regulations in general, because if there are no rules, people will just do the scummiest shit because they know they can get away with it and they don't care about the repercussions. But I don't disagree with you. Like I think one of the things that we should focus on, if we going to focus on anything before space, would be studying and the colonization of the seafloor in Antarctica, because
You
aquaculture.
know, a great way to do that is from space.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, it's kind of walking backwards, right? Because if you can build a type of ship that operates underwater and under the pressure of the water, you can retrofit that to go into space. Like submarine, like the submarine archetype of building or vehicle is probably what we're going to end up with in space by and large.
Space is easier and cheaper.
Is that you do?
Yes, sir. What's up?
Is that
Let's
you?
do.
Is that you, Vibe?
That's me. You know my voice,
Yep.
right?
Yeah,
Yep. Earth
I know, but
survived.
I know just about everybody's voice, and if I don't, I won't let them up. Welcome to the show, gentlemen. We'll get if Dennison and Stanley were through giving their points, we'll let them go, and then we'll let Do and Vibe go. The
Yeah,
Do
I'm
will go
I'm done.
first, and Vibe will go.
So,
Going a little
space
bit later.
exploration is in service of food and security. Many of the technologies that we use to feed people today were developed for NASA originally. Hydroponics, for example. A lot of these experiments in low gravity teach us how we can make food more efficiently, how we can feed people and deliver food to people in harsh regions and where food sources are limited. Also, it's inevitable if we end up surviving the next 100 years as a species, we will have food crops on the moon. That goes without saying. So this is also about expansion. Um, that's how human beings kind of survive. As we expand to another area, adapt to that surrounding, and yield nature in order to accommodate our needs, which I think probably will eventually lead to crops on Mars. Also, the discovery of it or the mining of a single asteroid would
I
exceed
agree.
the entire economy. And it's like if you added up all the currency and all the transactions in the economy as a whole on Earth, the amount of rare minerals, Earth minerals, I guess they wouldn't be Earth minerals in this case, that we could mine from a single asteroid would exceed that amount. So, just from a capitalistic standpoint, as far as infusing resources and money into the economy and creating the opportunity for research, innovation, development, we're talking about quadrillions of dollars that could be invested into food insecurity or otherwise developing third world nations, cleaning up the ocean, finding solutions to climate change, etc. So I don't think it's a one or the other thing, and I don't even think it's a priority thing. I think we can talk and chew gum at the same time, and that as far as like in particular food insecurity, NASA has been at the knife's edge of of food technology for the past 50 years, if not
Yeah.
more than that.
Because
Can I ask
it's
a
it's
question of Denizen?
uh let me say three things and then yes, and then we'll give do the floor to go. The first thing is it's all about logistics, right? NASA has to plan out logistics and new technologies for logistics. If you can grow food on the moon, it's much more cheaper than to send it, process it, and send it up into space. Two, the grid says, why are people starving when humans can literally grow food anywhere on this planet? Could it be that we do not need to focus on science and instead focus on culture and morality? I think two things can
I
be true.
100% agree with that point.
I think we can do both.
200%.
I think we should focus on science and innovation, but also focus on culture and morality. You can
Well,
split
good.
your
Let me
focus.
then I can ask you the question instead of Dennison. We have had opportunities for hundreds of years to do just that. This is a woulda, coulda, shoulda sort of defense. Again, I'm not saying that space is a bad thing, technology is a bad thing, but we have had opportunities for hundreds of years to do what coulda, woulda, shoulda been done. I don't think it's an adequate defense of going to the moon or mining asteroids. Yeah, okay, if that's what you think, we've had the opportunities. And grid one is right.
I would also agree, and I think the coulda part is what we have wrong. When it comes to that culture morality, I think the existential foundation is the family unit, just like communism. If we recognize the family unit as a communistic unit, a socialist collective unit for its own self-survival, if we did that the same thing with the culture aspect and brought it down to the family level, we could get into that growing our own food sources and being self-sufficient in that instead of having to depend upon an expense every year. It's a self-propagating system. If you learn how to grow it itself, you don't have to. You have the startup supply thing to get the gardening and get the food production and stock production going. But once that's started, if you have the knowledge to keep it consistent in nature, prosperous and abundance in itself, learning how to do your seed storage and repropagating your fields from your own seeds instead of having to go out and buy them every year. This is the foundational element of that culture and morality, is the family unit. And when you look at it from that aspect, I don't think you see culture and morality. I think you see that collectivism that everybody so much wants, but wants to call it communism and see it as something bad. On the
We're all socialists in our house, right?
Right. The family foundation is the basis for everything, politics, economics, everything. And if we fix that, I think that's the thing we could do. But people are so advanced in the technologies that they forgo that family anymore.
Can
Well,
I ask you a question? No, can you actually call a family
Can I
unit?
jump in there right quick?
Yeah, do you have the floor? Let me read off Grid's comments and extend an invitation to Grid to come up to join this. By that I mean I do not see any need to focus on scientific resources to feeding people on this planet. Those science dollars should be spent on achieving the impossible. I agree with that. It sounds unreasonable, but it is unreasonable. By that is why all change happens. Go ahead, dude. Go take it from here. You got the floor.
So I look at shoulda, coulda, woulda in a different aspect, right? We all know that there have been several resets on this planet, whether it be ice age, catastrophic events as far as like asteroids, pole resets, floods, whatever the case may be, right? And I think that if a man has the means, then he has the responsibility to make a backup place for as much people as he can. So I think that it's a noble cause if it is really truly his cause, because it could just be a front for like what Orthodox is saying, just mining resources, right? And using the noble cause as an excuse in order to do it. But I don't think you need an excuse for that noble cause, because we know that eventually our time is going to be up. It's just a matter of time, and nobody knows when. And I don't think it's a good enough reason to say because the technology doesn't exist right now to terraform planets, don't mean that it won't in the near future, especially the way how technology is growing in its exponential growth rate that is going. So,
And I'll agree with that too.
Well, the thing is,
think
you won't develop the technology until there becomes a necessity for it, because necessity is the mother of all invention. So when I said what I said, I wasn't saying that he shouldn't go to Mars. We shouldn't put people on there. I just don't think, because the technology being possible, that it is going to be an effective backup. But I get what you're saying. Go ahead, Stanley.
let me go ahead and say we should not go to Mars. It's a matter of priorities, and noble would be something I would never associate with Elon Musk.
but
So
you didn't.
you're mixing personal and professional is what you're doing.
Of course I am.
So here's the point, though. Isn't it a noble cause to want to have a backup place in case something catastrophic happens on Earth and the majority of the planet is uninhabitable?
Well, you
Beyond
can't
noble,
survive on the
sensible.
moon.
I don't think we will get to Mars in Elon Musk's lifetime.
No, I asked the question. You said you didn't know about noble.
No,
I'm
I
saying
don't
that
thi-
is
I
it a
don't
noble
think-
cause for
It is
a
not a
man
noble
to make a
It is not.
backup planet?
I do not think it is.
Wow.
Unless you can regenerate gravity like it is on Earth, you won't survive but a few years on the moon, even without having to come back to the Earth. Otherwise, your body is going into such chaos you won't survive.
Well, they've actually, fun fact, by utilizing like the spinning of space stations, they've developed a way to have artificial gravity. But now it's funny because Russia rushed to patent that as quickly as possible. So like patent laws, we're gonna have to do away with those things if we really want this space exploration and innovation to actually
Can't patent
work.
space.
Well, they didn't.
No, the technology.
Who's going to touch me if I launch a spaceship up in, like, if I'm like Elon Musk and I launch a casino into space? Whose jurisdiction am I under that's going to stop me from using gravity in space? Like,
you realize there are nukes in space, right?
Well, not only that,
There's
kinetic weapons work in space as well. They have oxidizers. You don't need.
I do have to say though, I mean, like, amen to everybody actually on this panel. And hey, Stanley, good to see you. I actually jumped up because you're up here, and I like talking to you.
Yeah, I like Stanley.
Hey,
Yeah,
Brian.
Stanley's good people. But I mean, I give an amen to Grid, because we can feed the population on this planet right now. The last panel I jumped on with you, Orthodox, we actually were talking about how like humanity is like destroying the world. But as I think it was Denzen or Due Diligence said, the world has a capability of doing that on its own without us. It destroyed the dinosaurs, and the dinosaurs didn't cause any problems to the planet, right? So it is good to have a backup plan.
Except
So
for that
ultimately,
pesky oil.
I mean, everybody actually everybody made one really good point, and even you, Orthodox, you're like, only out of necessity. Well, there wasn't a necessity to go out of to the moon, but by going to the moon, we invented microwaves, we invented Velcro, we invented kidney dialysis, we invented water purification systems that are being used in Africa. All these were all,
Yep,
That's
right?
what I was referring to.
Tang.
Yeah.
Don't forget Tang.
Great point.
Yeah, and so sometimes like achieving the impossible actually gives us things that we weren't trying to achieve here on the planet, but solve planetary problems. So like trying to go to Mars, it's a good backup plan. Do we really need it? I don't know. Should it be the priority? Maybe, because when we try to achieve something that's impossible, the outcoming technologies are amazing. And to Grid's point, right? Like, we can feed the world right now without changing any science or anything. Like, it's totally possible to feed the world now. And I would actually argue can't we do both, right? So one is a social and government problem, and the other one is exploration. It is a backup plan, and the results out of that are amazing if all of us people can just get our shit together.
And I
My
think Grid,
argument isn't that we shouldn't do it. I just think it should be a second priority.
right.
Well,
And
you
I
can-
think, I think Grid makes a good point here in one of his comments. A reasonable man accepts the world around him. The unreasonable man forces the world around him to change to fit his needs. Therefore, all change must come from an unreasonable man. And when we look at what people call the destruction of the earth, the dinosaurs, I think destruction is a bad word. I think it changed for sure. The world changes, but it never destroys itself. Does that make
I would
sense?
say I
Well,
would replace
that's-
unreasonable with disagreeable.
Great analysis.
Well, whether it destroyed itself or not, I think the point that needs to be addressed is the uninhabitability of those times, to which humankind needs some type of backup plan to still flourish.
Yeah.
Because we can go extinct just like any other species can by minor things.
Yeah, and
Hey,
Waterloo,
technology-
Iowa is definitely very close to uninhabitable.
Any technology
I'm here.
developed to get us to Mars
Well, that
will
is
undoubtedly
literally-
benefit humans here on Earth.
okay.
And
so
what did
Mars is the
JFK
backup
say?
plan?
JFK said something about we do things, because they're hard. You know what I mean? Like, not all the time it has to be out
Ask
of
not.
not all the time it has to be out of necessity, but sometimes you do things just for the cause of it, the innovation of things to progress technology, to progress the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's in
I
our
hate to
DNA.
sound- I hate
Well,
to
when you-
sound unreasonable, but the backup plan should be stop fucking up, not going to Mars. There are all kinds of things we could start doing tomorrow to, not destroy ourselves.
And we can also go to Mars at
Oh
the
yeah, we
same
shouldn't
time.
destroy ourselves, but we could
Okay,
still get hit by an asteroid,
I'm not
right?
saying
So
we
it's
shouldn't
still
go
good to
to
have a backup plan.
Mars. I'm saying it should. If Elon wants to do it, great. I'm not willing to give him money to do it.
And he's not asking.
So the technologies that
seriously.
Elon has brought,
He gets all.
whether
He's
virtuous or
he's
not,
one of the biggest government.
It's a
contractors
joint
out there.
process. Yes, DARPA. That's how DARPA exists.
It
Private
has
and
to be a
government
joint-
working
it has-
together.
It has to be a joint process because these technologies right now are not profitable. Look at solar energy. When it first came out, solar cells and solar panels were not profitable because they hadn't been properly researched and developed. Now that
By the
they
way,
are researched and
China-
developed, they're one of the most
China outstripped.
No.
China is number one when it comes to solar technology.
So would you guys
The-
not say like part of the future of tech humanity is having clean power, which would be solar, really good batteries, lower expenses
Wind power is terrible.
on fuels, right? Now, wouldn't you say, regardless of what Elon's agenda is, that as a single human being on this planet, he's done more to advance battery technology, solar technology, and fuel efficiency, being able to launch a rocket for 1/100th of the cost that we were doing 10 years ago. These
Well,
are all
that's
things
why
that
the
actually affect our
privatization-
planet here today, right?
That's why the privatization of space is necessary, because as the infrastructure gets built and the R&D is done, it becomes profitable. The more resources and assets in space, it becomes very profitable for logistics companies to then fit the needs of those people that are up there, or those companies. And you see the price of silver, right? Directly related to what's going on now with what I've been talking about, Flo, and messing with Flo about, is the price of silver. And Denison's point to mining asteroids or mining other planets, right? Because as we develop this technology, it's going to put a further need of resources onto us, and we just don't have it on Earth. We don't have those resources we need. Like the battery you mentioned, Vibe, they have a solid state battery now that requires a shit ton of silver to be manufactured, and it is highly efficient.
Yes, we will
I think
run out of
But
resources.
at what
I think
cost?
Starlink as a project is excellent. That's probably the best thing Elon Musk has done. And I'm a Tesla fan too.
You know, he launches
He just
daily.
named off
Dude.
like six great things. What are you talking about?
Right. Well, Starlink I'm okay with. To me, that is very useful. minus the fact that he can turn it off and turn it on whenever he wants to. Ukraine is a good example of that. But
Correct.
I think that's based personally, but I mean, hey, yeah, there's only so many U.S. citizens I'll allow to be put on a country's murder list, or before I'm like, you know what, maybe we should just cut ties with them. But
the bottom line is, I don't think Elon is evil necessarily. I think he's problematic, and I'm just not. I even think mining asteroids, but Mars is a backup plan. Sure, why not? But it should be something that's being worked on in the background. It should not be in the foreground.
Well, honestly,
It's
it
not
is.
one or the other.
Look at how it's done.
Chew gum and walk.
Okay,
here's the thing.
If it's in the background, you're chewing gum and walking. I'm just saying it shouldn't be a top priority.
Well, it is in the background. Like the only reason that we're really talking about Starlink is I like it and I stay informed on it. Not Starlink, the SpaceX.
Gotcha.
I like space travel.
Gotcha.
By and large, most other things like feeding the people who are starving, that is a bigger priority for most people. But the ultra wealthy in the West are like, you know what? For whatever reason, they're wanting to dick around in space. So I applaud them. I think this is the Irish gentleman Sheen that came on. Was talking about the environment. I think solving environmental problems before going to Mars. Here's the thing: the technology used to put permanent settlements, whether the population is permanent or they rotate out, however you do it, the technology used to put that infrastructure in place would go a long way in fixing the environmental problems we're having. You're going to have domed cities or domed communities that have their own climate control systems.
You got to let go of this scarcity thinking, this budget thinking. It's not real. It's artificially enforced by a ruling class and a billionaire class. We can do all of the above and serve our species in every way we possibly can. When space exploration starts to directly interfere with the resources that are available for food and environmental cleanup, let me know. Point it out.
Let me say this.
There's something called Doge.
So who is to say that the need? Who is to say that the need to make a backup planet or a backup PlayStation or a backup moon is not like is not like in the near future. Like nobody knows when we're going to have a pole shift, an ice age, a catastrophic event, a plague, a volcano. Like nobody knows. So everybody is just like we willy-nilly and just like, it's not a dire need. Well, it actually could be because no one knows when the time is. And
we're going through a pole shift right now.
Well, that's absolutely right. Because y'all never know. Y'all never know when I'm gonna finish the final weld on my asteroid magnet. Y'all just don't know. As soon as that gets done, you'll know. And you'll wish for a backup then. But like when the asteroid magnet is done, you never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Josh,
I'll throw this in there as just kind of like a caveat, right? I think everything everybody talked about are essential for the survival of humanity. I think we have to do space flight and everything. If our goal is to continue growing as a civilization in technology, however, we can actually make the argument that none of this is necessary, minus the backup plan. That's the only necessary. Like if an asteroid comes, then we have to go somewhere else. But minus that, we don't need YouTube.
Be somewhere else.
We don't need internet. You don't need any of these things to be happy, have a good family, and live on this planet. We can do if we just back up and just go, you know what? Let's just live on this planet and let's just be each other. Now, myself, I love this shit. I don't know now that I've been exposed to it that I could ever go without it. But if I never was exposed to it, I'd probably be pretty happy with my family.
I tend to agree, but I think it's the necessity point. See, with today's logistics, it's all projection of future necessity. And that's where we're off base. I think if we stick to our actual necessities here, that would tend, again, it goes to the separation of needing it privately. That's the necessity, and government would be the extra curricular extension of possible necessities, and that's why we need the scientific research for those preventative aspects, rather than to expansion, like we said earlier. If we consider our nature and stay within that nature, I don't think we need to expand. It happens naturally.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I mean, we have to mine meteorites in order to continue our expansion with batteries and solar panel and technology and AI and the power consumption of AI. But we don't need any of those things. And if we don't need them, then we don't have to mine an asteroid. But if we want to keep on going on the path that we're going on, we have to do that.
I actually disagree. I think because, like, have you ever heard the saying, "We shape our tools and our tools shape us"? Right. I think that humans, as we go forward with this technology, we become dependent on it. It's not necessarily technology, but the knowledge and the abilities that this technology give us is what we become dependent on. Because yes, you can learn how to grow your own food, but you become so much more efficient with fertilizer and mechanical machines.
Yeah, but you can unlearn that in one generation.
But
that's bad. That would cause a huge amount of human death and a decrease in the population.
Yeah, it comes to an efficiency factor. Then, is the technology worth the efficiency, or is it being carried too far or not enough? Like you said, we shape our tools and our tools shape us. Are we going to create technologies that are going to limit us, or are we going to understand those technologies for its efficiency?
So let me answer that. But first, is that you, Irish Sean, the environmentalist guy? Going once.
Hello, Sean.
Sean, is that you? Going twice. Sean?
He's probably having microphone issues.
Yeah. I'm gonna put you in the back. Type in the private chat when you're ready, and then I'll try to do a verification again. D5 says, I'm on a INTP rabbit hole looking and reading about the Carboniferous period. Just imagine what horrors wait for us on other planets. I actually am looking forward to, like, I hope that I get to. I hope that, and I know I'm probably just doing that gay. Love technology, love engineering, and fantasizing about things that probably won't be in my lifetime. But I hope that I get to see life on another planet and see the raw nature of an undisturbed ecosystem, no matter how violent and afraid. Because, like, it would be amazing.
Yeah, she says that like it's a bad thing.
Yeah. Sean, you try to come up again? Is that you, bud?
Good luck with that.
Yeah. I'm more excited, not about seeing it, but eating it. Like the new vegetables, the new fruits, and the new meats. I'm like, let's find another planet. I want some new meat.
Well, see, here's the thing, right? Here's the only issue with that. You more than likely will not be. Dude's like, pause. No, but you more than likely will not be able to digest that stuff, unless the theory that all life and evolution takes a similar path due to the lack of resistance. If that is the case, that will prove that, because you'll be able to digest and it'll be very similar to our own. But if it's not, you may not be able to digest it. It may be very bad for you. That's why I'm not against us completely destroying, the natural microbes on Mars and putting like good Earth soil, that super soil on Mars to grow things.
I believe in the not too distant future, we're going to be having I don't know if you would call it artificial food, but you remember like on Star Trek where they could go to the ship and be like, make me this, and it would create it from it would create it on the atomic level. I don't think that's too far away, and I think when that happens,
that's already Prince food.
And I think when that happens, we ain't gonna have to necessarily, worry about hunger.
I'm learning how to make sourdough bread, by the way. There's an adventure in every kitchen. Okay, you don't need to go to Mars to discover new stuff. There's plenty of stuff to learn right here on Earth. And I would rather replicators, maybe. I wouldn't eat it.
We wouldn't even have sourdough bread here if everybody had that attitude, though, Stanley.
Yeah,
Somebody had to look on the horizon and say, what's beyond there? And then build a keel out of wood and sail off into almost certain death for months at a time.
What's up, little X? Yeah, it's me,
Okay,
Ortho.
if you say so,
All right,
Denizen.
I want to say I want to get the
Man.
new people in. Sean came, and then Exiled. I want to give the floor to Sean and then Exiled. Go ahead, say your piece and extend the conversation.
Well, hello. Yeah, I mean, there's there's new technology now with fermented bacteria. They're making like milk now. There's an Israeli company that's making milk out of fermentation. I think it's bacteria, and they're making loads of fake stuff, fake meats out of fermentation. Like they make fake meat out of bacteria now as well. So it's pretty cool what they're doing with them.
Well, they
They're
also
literally
take
printing food now with like 3D printers type shit, printing food.
yeah
Yeah.
they take the cells from cows and literally use that to print like actual beef in 3D in biological 3D printers. And I'm not against that stuff. I don't get why people hate that because chemically and nutritionally it is the same thing as butchering a cow. So I don't get that. So,
Yeah, but there's the feel of holding that knife.
And the
Fair
taste of that fresh steak.
we've all
That
been
you-
harnessing bacteria to make all sorts of stuff.
And
Well,
you have
Sean-
a point there about the knife.
Hey,
Well,
I
Sean-
love butchering meat.
Sean, that is a very valid point. Exiled, you got something to add?
To be honest with you, brother, not this time. I just seen you was live earlier, and I know that's a rarity nowadays, so I just came to see what you had up. Wasn't here when this conversation started.
Like I'm a beekeeper, and I know that honey is the
Really?
most faked food in the world, after olive oil.
Can somebody give
Olive
me a
oil
quick
and honey
synopsis, bro? Can
is
y'all
the
give me a
most.
can y'all give me a quick synopsis of what y'all are talking about, so I don't have to guess it in?
All right, OG, give him a TLDR.
I'm gonna leave that to the host.
We're basically talking about SpaceX, the future of technology, and space exploration, and all the future possibilities that would bring. And we're discussing the negative aspects, or even if it's necessary. And speaking of, Grid gave an example of, I'm not gonna play the whole video, obviously, because it's an hour long, but Grid gave an example of how the unreasonable and dreaming the impossible is happening. So let's check this out real quick.
This is a microchip. When you zoom in, you find a nanoscopic computing city. Skyscrapers hundreds of layers tall with hundreds of kilometers of wires connecting everything. And at the very bottom is this: transistors. Billions of them. They are the ones and zeros of our computer. The chip works using electrons from transistor to transistor. And the smaller you can make those transistors, the less the signals have to travel, so the faster they can compute. Plus, you can fit more transistors into the same area, resulting in a much more powerful chip. So for over 50...
Don't want to get copyright, but
what was the point of that?
Yeah.
Well, just I can explain it. Just 50. He gave me a timestamp. We'll check the timestamp. I just don't want to get a copyright going to the timestamp. Now, the thing is, right? So, when computing first started, it was very bare bones and like when I talked to my friends,
I was
about,
there. Me and
It
Chuck
was
were there.
vacuum tubes when
Well,
computers
y'all
started.
motherfuckers were there when the abacus was invented. Stop fronting, all right?
I got the original stone tablets that we figured all this shit out on.
I still have a transistor radio that my father gave me when I was in 7th or 8th grade.
I got a crystal radio.
But when I explain to my homie how computing is just a bunch of little things, little logic gates switching between 1 and 0, like he refuses to believe me because of the advancement of computing technology and those chips, meant that was seen as impossible when computing first came to be a thing, and we've literally reached out and done the impossible. But here
I
is
don't.
a
I
rest of that
let
video
me
that wants to go
let
ahead.
me make one observation. And I understand that the impossible, from a from a hindsight perspective, like I said, me and Chuck lived it. It was not earth shattering. People have been doing amazing things for millennia. Um, I don't know why it's a surprise. It's not impossible if it happens.
Well, and when we think about these chips and stuff, the units, they're still binary switches, on off switches.
Right.
That's all they are.
Exactly.
And so what they're doing now is the technology. It's called Moore's law. It doubles every 2 years. And what it is we used to have to draw in dirt, and then we had stone tablets, and we could pass them around, and that was a passage from point A to point B. That's the on-off
Gutenberg
gate.
press.
Right. And then as we go on in history, we see that communication transistor path changes. We went to electronic tapes. When I first started programming computers, it was on the cassette tapes, and you had to literally wait for the tape, and that was a time span. As those gates get closer and closer, the time span shortens. And what they're working toward right now, we have solid state crystals. They're solid crystals. What they're working toward is a liquid crystal memory unit, because they already know water has memory, and they're the closest gates. It goes from neutron to neutron, atom to atom, all this, and that's the quickest form of communication.
Imagine quantum computing with liquid storage processors. That would be, we'd probably be able to move stars with the computing power at that point.
I'm not sure about that water memory thing. I think if you ask AI, I think that would be debunked. I'm not sure if water is the best.
It always goes back to its same state. So if you turn it off of its state and reshape it, once you turn that switch, it goes back to its original shape. That's the on-off memory.
I think we're going to start using atoms themselves and being able to manipulate, material on the atomic level and use those as the on and offs, the ones and zeros, and somehow like stabilize a group of like atoms and use it themselves to where there's no resistance, right? It's just, just on a molecular level, just it, you know what I'm saying? I think once we get to that point, and I think that that's coming, you know what I'm saying?
And that's like the H3 that we were talking about earlier. It's very hard to produce that H3. And with this technology, if it goes liquid, that would make that easier as well.
Yeah. I think we're in a renaissance, man. Do you guys agree? I think with quantum technology, nanotechnology, medicine technology, like all these different technologies we're on the cusp of right now with large language model, AI, all this stuff like coming down together. We got CRISPR, like all this stuff. I think that we're in a modern day renaissance, and it's kind of hard to recognize it because we're right on the cusp of everything.
I gotta be a nerd in ERM, actually. Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Stanley. I have to be a nerd in ERM, actually. Like, when the common man starts to understand these things, and the patent offices are, out of the way, and the technology is free to be experimented with by everybody, then we'll be in a renaissance. As actually right now, I don't think we are. I think we're actually in a technological.
Well, I agree, but we agree on it's not, but for different reasons. I honestly think America doesn't train engineers.
That's one of my biggest problems.
We're not, dude. Why do you think we have an H-1B visa system? America doesn't produce enough engineers. we're not
I think that's
getting
largely
kids.
scam and part of the reason we don't produce engineers, to be honest.
Yeah, you putting the cart before
Okay,
the horse.
I didn't say why we don't. I said we don't, and that is provable.
Well, I want to say why I believe that we are. The fact that we have the patent office doesn't negate the fact that we're in the middle of a renaissance and the everyday person can't do absolutely everything that they want. But if you think about it, once AI, these large language models get a little bit further and everybody has their own personal agent to where you can say, hey, create whatever for me. And then that's when you're going to have the boom. And we're right there. You know what I'm saying? And then you don't necessarily, but let me say one more thing. Like, think about whenever you're able to hack, your agent and it be able to produce the things that you wanted to produce that may have a patent on it. You know what I'm saying? You can say, hey, who's going to stop you? And I think there's going to be people out there that have their own agents, that have their own large language models that's going to be asking it to do everything and not going to care about the patents or anything else because
I think we don't produce enough engineers, scientists, mathematicians, and that's a problem.
we're not going to need engineers in 20 years.
Hearing someone say we're not going to need engineers is scary.
We always need.
Well, it's the truth.
Do you mean globally or
it's not the truth?
It's going to happen. You may not want to acknowledge it, but it's
AI
going to
is not a thinker. AI is just a tool.
Well, he's talking about people who are using AI as a tool, and people who. So he's not saying that we won't have engineers, right? You're kind of misconstruing what he's saying. He's saying the common people will have that knowledge.
Not producing them.
I'm saying if we have 100 engineers in the world and everybody has an AI agent that's capable of doing engineering at a PhD level, there's going to be less engineers. And that's just reality.
I think the reality is we are literally engineering our own demise.
Yep, I agree.
Well, I didn't want to go there. I'm just talking about specifically there going to be less engineers because technology is going to make it the case.
We're there now.
We can demonstrate.
People need to understand their tools.
Well, yeah, we can demonstrate this claim with just a little bit of bullshit technology we have right now, right? So an example would be like let's call it the red pill movement, right? Comes about because we have actually more freedom within our time, right? Like the concept of a fucking vacuum cleaner, right? We don't have to like go out, take the carpets out and beat them on, spend hours doing that shit. We can just run a vacuum cleaner or like a dishwasher. Like these things fundamentally change the structure of our culture. And to sit here and say that, oh, we're going to look forward to all of these nitty gritty things and then ignore all of the shit you're going to lose. You motherfuckers are going to make it easier for bitches to be bitches. And I do include men in that too.
Yeah, I wish I could beat my rugs still. I feel like such a queer that I use a vacuum cleaner instead.
And
the real part of being a man, is beating your rugs.
And I think a lot of that goes again back to that necessity issue, because you're like I've been watching the comments in the chat. The engineers don't do it out of necessity, so they lack a lot of comprehension in that. They're not really so creative as you might think. Whereas the guy that needs it and absolutely has
are the creators. The engineers just make it happen.
Right. The ones that are behind the necessity, whether it be projected necessity through scientific method or the natural necessity where you got to have something and you got to do it yourself because ain't nobody else going to do it for you. That kind of necessity is the creativity of each and every one of us. And I think that's more imperative to the convenience aspect when we think about things. Do we want to make it such a technology that it makes it better for everyone? Or are we thinking, like I said earlier, on just our own familial basis, the family structure? Do we need such a huge plow to make food for agricultural farming, or do we stick with a small plow pulled by a horse or something like that, like the Amish for their own singular families? That
we
makes
author
sense.
our own necessity, though. I think that's like a factor that
Correct.
people don't take into consideration, right?
Right.
Like need and necessity is kind of subjective for humans, especially as we approach a post-scarcity world.
Well, and I think that's because we gather in such large societies. Again, if we take it back to the family structure, man by his nature is actually transient.
Right. Nomadic.
Well, in that way, man is just an animal. You follow the food. Now,
Yep.
I think we've gotten way away from that. We don't, basically growing your own food pretty much solved the nomad, the wandering, domesticating animals.
Yeah, and that's
So,
society
we
itself
live
is technology,
effectively.
guys.
Right.
Mars is the next farm, Stanley.
Mars is even not even in the next, not even in your great grandchildren's lifetime is that going to be a thing. The
Yeah,
idea of
That's a hell of a
let's say
fucking
let's say
claim,
the
bro.
moon rather than Mars. I think the moon is the
okay.
next one.
Now, if we're talking about the moon, let's just roughly say about a 3-day trip, right? Okay, so SpaceX fucking launches this stuff up into space, right? Where are you motherfuckers gonna go? Oh, you think you're gonna go tour on the fucking moon and do a summer vacation kind of bullshit? Even your great grandkids are not going to be able to afford that trip. I mean, unless you're in the
That's
top
silly
5%.
talk.
Yeah, that's not true.
That's silly talk.
Yeah, that's not.
It's
You're just not
absolutely.
looking backwards enough to see forwards. If
You
think
know
it's gonna
how
take
much
that long.
energy is needed to
True.
launch buildings into space or any type of material to build on the moon, unless we
We're
can
not talking
fucking
about
figure out some way to
buildings.
build there.
We're not talking about buildings. Who's the rich brand?
Yeah, where are you going to go?
Virgin Airlines.
Richard
Virgin Airlines already provides commercial flights into space. You
Yes,
thinking
yes. Where are you
great grandchildren? You think 500 years from now it's not going to be affordable?
Where are you going to go? Right now, it's currently. This is the same exact thing like when Concorde came out, when commercial airlines first came out. Right, it was generations before the average person could actually get on.
Josh, you're being dense. Nobody's making a claim that right now it's going to be popping if we go to the moon. We know it's going to. Hold on. We know it's going to take some time to actually make the moon habitable to where you can do anything on it, but it's not as far away as you're making it seem. No, I don't
Absolutely, if we judge by history and the concept of travel, it is at least 5 to 6 generations away.
Well, that's not far,
and that's not even the affordable.
That's not far. That's not far away. And then also, we can't judge it by the past because hold on, let me say one thing. Because you have with the exponential growth in technology, we're cutting time in half. You know what I mean? So you can't look at the past. You have to look at the present and see the trajectory on technology and see how
right. Think about that for a moment, right? In 5 generations, and this is not considering inflation. This is just today's price because I have no idea how to project that in 5 generations, right? Which one of you motherfuckers is going to spend, like 10 years of your fucking salary to fly up into fucking space for a couple hours?
It's not going to be
Mars?
It's going to be affordable by then. Yeah. It's
just not going to be 10 years of salary. You're blowing smoke out of your ass right now.
Absolutely
not. Don't know what you're talking about.
None of you fuckers are going to afford. No, I'm sorry. None of your great grandkids are going to be able to afford it in 5 generations.
I retired 5 years ago. If 3 years of my salary will get me a ticket to space today. You just don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
You're the moon is going to be like going on a cruise ship now. It's going to be a regular vacation thing in 5 generations.
How many millions of dollars is a space flight currently?
It's $200,000.
Yeah, I'll say
200 grand.
Not even 1 million.
Oh, you're not even fucking leaving the atmosphere.
That's not. Yeah, that's not a space flight.
There are people who don't want to go to space. I'd spend my retirement. And by the way, congratulations, Dennis. And I'm retired too. Dude, I'd rather fly fish. There's stuff to do on Earth.
Look, all I'm saying is, Josh, you're kind of like English nobleman says nobody will afford to go to the New World right now. That's literally like fucking the dude who's like, it'll be 10 million years before man can achieve flight, like the week
Now, it
before
would
the
be a
Wright
different
brothers
story.
fly.
It would be a different story if the
Hold
goal was
on,
to
Josh.
colonize the moon, in which case they do exactly what they did within history. You'd find your unwanted motherfuckers and send them there.
Well, that's probably what's going to happen once the infrastructure gets built. Because
Okay, so let's
SpaceX is not going to the moon just to go there and do science. They are literally building the infrastructure, the gas stations, the tankers, the crew, the people movers, the flatbed trucks to go and move material. That's the point.
Sure.
In the
And what do you think is on the moon that's so much more valuable than, let's just say, ocean exploration? Right.
Well, helium-3 for one. Helium-3 is not found on the in the ocean floor or largely on Earth at all.
Okay. How many minerals are available within the ocean? Obviously, since we've only explored roughly about 3% of the ocean. This is
the
a rough
ocean is
estimate,
harder.
right?
Yeah, but what about let me ask you this, because we made this point before you came on. Like, the moon is also equivalent to a backup planet in case the Earth becomes uninhabitable for whatever reason, whether it be an ice age, whether it be a plague, whether it be a volcano, whether it be a comet. So those things are possibilities too.
It's inevitable. Our star is inevitably going to
the question that you asked, but Josh, I'm trying to answer the question, because the question that you asked was, what is the value in it? And it's value in and of itself to have a backup plan in case shit goes to hell here.
Oh, okay. So I could have a backup plan for just mass murdering.
We're men. Just because we can go is value in itself. Christ's sake. Just because we can is reason enough to do a thing. Where have you been?
This is the subjective.
Like I created it? Like I'm perpetuating it? It's the nature of human beings.
Agreed.
You think you're going to turn it off. Why? Because you got sourdough and fly fishing? It's not going to happen, bro.
No.
We're going to the moon whether you like it or not. And the next thing and the thing after that.
Nobody's taking the claim that you're going to try.
End of story, bro.
That's the thing that makes man a man. That's the thing that makes man and comprehend this aspect of dominion, is that we are the only creature that actually pushes our natural bounds because we have a certain aspect of knowledge that says we can.
Yeah,
no other animal does that.
And nobody here is making the claim that technology can actually have the door shut on it anyways. Right. The question is that it was based on the other dude's premises that we're inevitably going to our own self-destruction because we're dumbasses.
Yes, going to the moon is going to destroy humanity.
Nobody made that.
What a load of horseshit.
I think you're the one that made that claim.
I think it was cool that actually made that.
The point that I made is there can be natural disasters, not that we self-destruct ourselves, but there are a lot of natural causes, and every cause that I named was natural.
Well, environmental and viruses are man-made. A lot of them are man-made.
I have to agree, D5. You got me.
We are a lot like insects.
We are also a lot like viruses. Charles Darwin, you have a good one. I have a good little short video pulled up to piss Josh off.
Oh shit, this is coming.
You fuck with space. You're my homie, but you tell me no when it comes to space. No.
This is how the trip would be made. Starship is lifted into orbit by the Super Heavy booster, which then comes back to Earth. It meets up with another Starship, configured as a tanker, in order to refuel in Earth's orbit before making the long journey to the Red Planet. The booster isn't required for the return, since there's no deep gravity well to escape from on Mars. Starship flies solo, fueled by locally produced methane. So the entire Starship system is fully reusable.
How do they locally produce methane? With collecting their farts?
You shit in a toilet.
Yes. We've also found methane on Mars and other gaseous things. But anyway, Josh, like the initial infrastructure for that is going to be insanely expensive. But as you build the infrastructure, your argument that like if this happens within our lifetimes, we will be able to afford a ticket.
Okay, let's start
because
this.
of that infrastructure. Hold on, no. And I tell you you're wrong as a friend and say you should not say that because when Stanley and Chuck can vouch for me, when computers were the size of houses, you couldn't buy them.
Let's try it just based on orbit. Hold up, let's try this. Let's test this theory just on orbit, right? What is the shortest flight time to Mars, and how long does it take to cycle that back to the shortest from the longest flight time? Because Mars ain't exactly the same distance every fucking cycle. So what is it exactly?
Well, see, actually, this system of infrastructure makes that irrelevant. Because once you have quote unquote gas stations in orbit, you can launch and then you can reconfigure a trajectory and a burn.
It's yes, you could probably basically institute like a faster propulsion system, right?
That's the point of this infrastructure. And this infrastructure
correct. How long do you think that infrastructure is going to take, right? Keep in mind orbit, right? You're not going to hit that same path unless you're going to hit that same cycle path, in which case doesn't matter, right? Because that is going to have the shortest span between Earth and Mars, which is, I believe, roughly about 10 months, give or take.
5 months.
Right? Do what?
5 months.
I thought 7 to 10 was like the shortest distance.
No, 5 months.
7 is on the longer end.
7
would be your average. 5 is the fastest trip to Mars.
Okay. And now we're going to come through this process, right? Now you're going to land, right? You're going to land on Mars, right? Correct?
Yes.
At some point, yeah, not every time.
But
Okay.
you also
So now, whoever fucking gets there, right, is going to have to build up a launching system and a refueling station there, correct?
Not exactly, because the first people to go to Mars, in quotes, will be rovers and robots designed to set most of the infrastructure up before any humans land.
Right. How long is that self-creating building system? How far away is that projected to be?
What do you mean, the technology to have it?
Well, the technology exists, right? But in a system to where we can like basically build a house or an establishment, like some type of structure that you could reside in, right? Let's just say it's a room. Fuck it, like. Yes, it technically already exists. Fucking expensive as shit, right? But this self-creating system, right? How long is that away from, like, let's just say production level?
The tech, or how long would it take for it to build?
The ability to do it now, right? Like to basically build a room.
I mean, on Earth or on Mars?
On Earth, that's replicable and could sustain itself on Mars.
Yeah, so we have machines that'll do it now in a matter of minutes.
Okay.
They build entire houses in like a couple of days.
What does it take to do that on Mars currently?
I mean, including logistics? Because you would have to get off the Earth.
Sure. You might as well include shipping in there. Might as well.
Right, so you have to get off the Earth's surface. That's the most expensive difficult part.
Get to the point. What is the point you're trying to make?
The amount of time that you think this is all going to happen in, right?
Oh, it's if you say, but I've got another 50 years on this planet.
Let's say it takes 5 generations. For it to take 5 generations for us to be able to kick it on the moon, that's not a long period of time.
I thought we were talking about Mars. I thought we were talking about
the moon. The moon
is a completely different story. I would agree that Mars would have more resources than the moon.
Josh, are you hearing what I'm saying though? If I agree with you and say that it's 5 generations, you acting like that's 100 generations. 5 generations for us to be kicking it on the moon is right around the corner. That's not
right.
big amount of time.
So that would be the case. In 5 generations, what the
Are
fuck is
generations still
what the fuck
13
is our
years or are they
traditions
20
going
years
to
now?
be like in 5 generations? You
I don't think it's going
motherfuckers
to take
can
5
beat
generations
society
to
in
have
5
habitat
generations.
on the moon. I
Right.
think
Well,
you're
5
talking one
generations is
generation,
less than
like
5
20,
generations
25
is
years.
less.
You're
5 generations is less than 100 years.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to take 100 years to create a habitat on the moon.
No, well, to be
It's going to
fair,
happen
generation.
in our lifetimes.
Yeah,
Right.
a
and as soon
generation.
as,
No.
as,
Because
soon
100 years
as
is
soon as you
not a long time.
as soon as you build a habitat on the moon, make it efficient, and you learn the building blocks and the doctrine to do it on the moon. As soon as we have the infrastructure in place, they're going to do it on Mars, because each
Yeah, but the problem
planet
is
is going to
gravity.
have a different
Until you
abundance.
solve the gravity problem, you're going to be handicapped.
Well, the thing about it is the gravity problem is already solved because it's going to be rotational. It's not going to be permanent. It's going to be permanent, semi-permanent habitation. It's not going to be the same people inhabiting it for their whole life. It's going to be six months to year rotations. That information's already
You
been put
do
out
know
there.
you're limiting your argument. If you have to rotate people in and out, Josh is probably more right than not.
Well, that's as of right now, though. We keep talking about as in what technology can do now. But I think in the not so distant future, we're going to be able to do a lot of things that we can't even conceive of right now. So yes, right now we're limited, but in 10 years, I think it's going to be way advanced. And that's a complete guess, but it's not unfathomable. Unfathomable.
Well,
Oh, I'm not saying it's unfathomable.
Josh's argument. Let's not give Josh more credit. I love Josh, but this is space exploration, and when anybody makes space exploration, I get angry. So let's actually clarify Josh's argument. From what I understand, Josh's argument is we can't get there, and if we could, we wouldn't be able to afford it within 10 generations.
No, 5 generations.
Well, 5 generations either way.
5 generations. The average motherfucker on planet Earth ain't going.
Well, and that's the thing. And I say Boulder Dash.
Well, we would be too fat for it. We'd be too sick for it.
The average person can't operate a forklift. What that you're stating nothing. That's a nothing claim.
You're right. So we're all getting up in arms about space exploration for what purpose?
I don't think you've been listening, John.
I got another scenario for you. Elon goes up there and starts getting H3, and Russia says, no, you're going to split that. Elon says, no. Well, there are already nukes up there. What happens if he nukes Elon off the moon?
Who?
Then we do the same thing. Then we do the same thing we've always done in human history, and we fight about it.
Right.
And then we get even more innovation.
That's
unlikely, though. We'll probably be cooperating with the Russians.
It'll be war.
It'd be more likely that we cooperate with Russia than otherwise.
Yeah. Now, war would definitely speed up the development process.
Oh yeah, no. China's gonna fuck around. It's not gonna be Russia. It's gonna be China that fucks around and causes the first armed conflict in space. If
so,
anybody.
Josh, how many years is in a generation? Are you saying like how many years is in a generation?
25. I usually consider.
That's what I'm saying. So you think 125 years was that? 125 years.
Commercially,
and I'm with Dennison. I think it'll probably be half of that, if that. I think so. I don't know. I see the way you're looking at it right now, but I don't think you're really taking into consideration how fast technology is moving. You know what I'm saying?
In 100 years, in 95 years, there'll be cable TV on the moon.
Yeah, it requires a lot more than capability, right?
You'll be able to play Angry Bird. You'll be able to play Angry Birds on the moon in 100 years.
Yeah,
you guys are really, really, really short-sighted.
There must be limitations. You won't.
It also includes
the moon. You probably have nuclear energy in the moon, but then if you want to go to Mars, you can probably do nuclear. But I don't know how you can use nuclear energy to make gravity on a planet. Like you need a dome, and how do you make the gravity? Like you need a really strong nuclear energy thing to do the gravity thing.
Well,
What
OG was saying that they
these?
figured it out using like spinning.
On
Like whenever
on space stations, rotation and counter rotation of the modules would create artificial
Dude,
gravity.
all those mechanical parts. Good luck with that.
it'll happen one way or the
Well,
other.
if they had gravity figured out, the astronauts up there in the space station wouldn't still be floating around.
No, he's talking
Well,
about like a terraformed area. Go ahead.
No. I'm talking about a space station, and like here's the thing. Yes, it would, Chuck, because the International Space Station is 1 million fucking years old. Like we're talking about next generation space stations.
Space station. Yeah, I
Like
agree.
that's the thing. Like there's going to be gaps. That's also a problem. One of the drawbacks for the infrastructure is by the time all this is said and done, at least 25% of the infrastructure is going to be outdated and need to be replaced as well. So that's going to suck.
That's right. They went from those handheld flip phone type communicators to just being able to click your badge on your chest. So that is definitely
And then
technology in motion.
And then take into consideration with the bot technology that we have, like we're not going to have to do it. We can actually just send some shit out into space and program it to build itself 24/7. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not going to be how it was.
Yeah, like space travel is the only time that I support 100% automation. Because remember, I'm a techno Luddite. I don't think technology should exist that does not have a human element, that does not augment human ability. Now, having fully automation for space exploration definitely fits that criteria because we would
Say that
die.
again, OG. Say that
So
again.
you're a Luddite with exceptions.
Yeah,
I'm a techno Luddite. I don't think we should have AI. I don't
No,
think
Luddites, techno Luddite is redundant.
an oxymoron. I know,
Just
but I like.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out
Luddite
what you're trying to
will-
say.
So
Explain it.
So I don't think technology should be like 100% automated. I think the only technology we should use is technology that directly interfaces with humans and augments human ability. I don't think that we should do like 100% automation or have AI thinking for us. Chuck, I know AI doesn't think, but I'm talking about in the future. Stop.
I'm with Chuck on that.
But you know, there's a lot of things that's already like, pretty much 100% automated though. Like what?
But I don't agree with it unless it's
Why?
for space exploration or extremely dangerous, uninhabitable environments.
Why? What's your reason that you don't agree with it?
Because people might
think it's
die.
bad. Yeah, I
You
just
think it's
bad.
what?
I just think it's bad. I think it's a net negative for humanity to replace the human element in anything with technology, an unfeeling cold machine.
Oh, I see what you mean.
I think the man that doesn't comprehend the technology and uses it anyway to his own detriment is the issue.
Well, that's why I'm a techno Luddite, because anybody who doesn't understand the technology does that.
So what about the argument?
What's the non-tech Luddite?
Just somebody who hates and misunderstands technology and doesn't want it. I'm just saying, this is me making up words right here. Making up words.
Well, OG, what about the other side of the argument?
Manly coming in. That's an oxymoron.
I'm sorry. I'm just one of those word nerds.
So let me give you the other side of the argument, OG, of what like Elon is proposing is that technology is going to make it to where we don't have to work as hard. And then, we might have some type of like socialist type system where, people have a regular income, or not a regular income, but like a national income type of things. Like it'll make things better, more utopic in a sense.
Utopias are the worst. Utopias
is more likely.
Utopias are the worst thing for humanity. Once we become a utopia, we are done.
Well, I don't think there's going to ever be a literal utopia, but I'm thinking
the closer we get to utopia, the worse thing we're going to be, because one of the reasons that technology replacing men is bad is men require purpose. Men need something to do, if nothing more than to just keep them from going crazy and being sedentary.
Yeah, but I don't think one negates the other. I think if you have technology, hold on. Can you not use technology in order to continue to make advances? I'm saying you're going to have some people that don't want to work, and then you're going to have other people who still want to do things in the world and use technology in order to, make that happen.
You absolutely can if you don't remove the human element. That's the key word in my techno-Luddite ideology. Don't remove the human element. You
Hey,
can augment
Orthodox,
human
can I
abilities.
ask you? That might be a whole show. I'm trying to figure out how you can be right of center and believe in hard work and pulling yourself up by your bootstraps, but be a proponent of, technology, AI, all that stuff. To me, that seems dichotomous.
Well, he definitely doesn't believe in pulling yourself up by your own bootstraps. That's an oxymoron.
That doesn't exist. It's an impossible.
No, you know what the saying means.
Right.
Let's not go there.
Yeah, they being too
No,
little.
that is what the saying means.
How can you advocate for AI, which replaces jobs, replaces the need for hard work, while advocating, for hard work?
I don't think I don't. AI is ultimately
No.
bad.
I'm saying it's a show. I don't mean you. I'm just saying.
Okay.
He's speaking to the general public that does.
Okay, yeah, no, that would be a good idea for, because I was stuck in the conversation with Do. I'm sorry. No, that's a good idea.
You're
for
just
a show.
used to me attacking people personally. I wasn't.
True.
They don't actually hold any of those beliefs. They're told what to think and what to believe. And the source of that attitude about pulling yourself up from your bootstraps, that comes from the resentment of their own exploitation. They don't want to see the next generation get more benefits with less exploitation.
Literally not something that to be taken literally.
Yeah.
Okay, but it is the saying "pull yourself up from the boots by your own bootstraps" is a saying because it's impossible. That's why it became a saying.
Really? No, it's not impossible.
Yes, it is. Yes. I'm sorry that you're unaware of this. You can keep laughing at reality, which is that's kind of a habit for you.
Dennison,
hold on, you're just making me yell for no reason. Let me turn you down. You love talking over me.
Like I usually
but
do.
even if you consider that saying the way you're trying to use it, which is incorrectly.
Okay, you know what I mean.
Those people don't
Dennison,
actually believe in pulling yourself up by your own bootstraps. Very few people actually hold that belief. It's a resentment that's born out of their own exploitation. They don't want to see the next generation get more benefits out of less exploitation, and that resentment is inherent in this scarcity mindset, the capitalist system that we have. So if you actually take care of people's basic needs, I don't think that that mentality survives that long into the future.
I literally think you sound like a blathering idiot.
By the sweat of your brow. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. All it means
can't
is
pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
self-reliant.
Yeah,
that's what people don't understand the saying.
He knows what it means.
No. But that's literally.
And I addressed that in my comment, but you didn't hear it because you were talking the whole time.
You literally sound like someone who's bitter.
It's literally like trying to have to tuck.
I'm just bitter that you're on this panel.
Look, gentlemen. Let's calm down. Let's calm down a little bit. The thing is, and I agree with Dennison here. The thing is, the saying "pull yourself up by your bootstraps" implies that you are being self-reliant, but it uses something that is impossible to imply that self-reliance, thus making or insinuating that being self-reliant is impossible. Right. And if you don't see that, that's a you problem.
Okay, then
yes,
both of you
Good
are
point.
birds of a feather.
No, that's where the saying comes from. We didn't make it up. You just don't know what it means because you're ignorant.
The dude who made the saying,
just say it louder.
See, you just want to
just say it louder. It was addressed. I addressed the way you used it incorrectly. You weren't listening.
The way you criticized it marks you as an idiot.
Then I also here, I'm going to turn you down again. I also addressed the way you use it, but you weren't listening because you don't listen. I bet you're screaming over me right now as I'm talking.
I literally don't listen to fools like you.
All right, gentlemen. All right, let's get back on topic because here's my thing. I'll point this out before we move on, since I'm the host of the show. Stanley, you was talking about space exploration and how it would be better to feed the starving. Denison,
Well,
wait,
prioritize.
hold on. Denison actually thinks that we should feed the starving as well. The issue that I don't know the issue that y'all are having, but y'all have the same goals.
We don't have an issue. The issue is Stanley is extremely intimidated by me, and he's a narcissist. And this is how he acts whenever we're on a panel together. End
You know
of.
what? I won't dignify.
I'm not going to pretend otherwise.
I won't dignify that with a response. Please continue, Orthodox.
Fair enough. And the thing is, like, so I think that instead of, like, it's always great to practice self-reliance, which is the point of that, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. But where Denison becomes correct is it is easier to make people self-reliant if you fucking help and teach them. The crowd that believed in the pull yourself up by your bootstraps idiom did not teach the next generation how to prosper by and large.
So is this a boomer
of the
thing?
idiom itself is to make fun of people who think that you can be self-reliant and pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
The gentleman who did make the idiom did come out and say that exactly that too, by the way.
That's my point. And then after I said that, I addressed the way Stanley and Chuck incorrectly use it as well. I don't know if they heard because Stanley was yelling the whole time.
Okay, so Orthodox, my question to you is that this thing that's going around on YouTube where young people criticize boomers, is that where you're going with this? The part about
it's not even a
people who are yelling about self-reliance didn't teach their kids to be self-reliant.
Well, I mean, that is a problem in of itself, but it's not just a boomer problem.
See, I don't think it's I think it's a false narrative.
Well, the boomers may have started it, but Gen X and millennials kept it going for sure. And Gen Z seems like it's going to keep the whole thing going until the country just doesn't exist anymore.
Can you give an historical example, Stanley, of what you mean? You know, like give an example.
An example of
pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
Well, let's just use my father. Are you okay with anecdotes? It's not like a broad historical thing, but it's an anecdote. Is that acceptable?
Let's hear it.
Okay, and quite a number of Black people who grew up during Jim Crow, that thing about, hey, get out of that small South Georgia town, go into the military, let's see what it's got. There's a whole shit. The whole Great Migration, go away from the South, go up to the big city where there are jobs. That's pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. There are plenty of historical examples.
Yeah, that phrase has dual meaning.
Go west, young man. Perfect example.
That's not
in
pulling,
an odds. I'm sorry.
But that's not being self-reliant. That's not building your own business.
Yes, it is.
Building yourself
yes, it
up.
is. Actually, it is.
So this is what I would say to respond to that. I think I know what you're saying, but it's just on such a, and this is not to be condescending or anything, but it's like on a low level. Like let's take somebody like let's take somebody like John Rockefeller or something like that. Hold on, let's use Rockefeller for an example, right? I'm trying to explain it to you. If you give me a chance to explain,
let him finish, Stanley. Let him go.
Some people will look at Rockefeller and say that he was self-reliant, right? And said that he pulled himself, but it's just not true when you look at the whole scheme of things. But I can see from your aspect of it that like he was a young man that set off, left his parents' house and made a way for himself. But along the way, he had to use an array of different people. He created an array of different companies. So in one sense,
that is literally self-reliant.
See,
But it's
but
not.
other
It's
people
not.
wouldn't.
It's not though, because
It actually is orthodox.
the way society
There's
works.
no
Oh,
way.
wait, no,
There's no
The
way
way
you can't.
society works is that no man rules alone and no man builds himself
Okay,
alone.
then y'all don't get
There
it.
is an
Y'all
entire
don't
society.
get my point.
No, I get your point. You have to work for it.
I
I
don't
agree
think you
with you.
do actually.
You have to work for shit. But let's not pretend that there's not a whole
Exactly.
array.
You
That's
have
not.
no
But
one.
that's
No
not what
one was
most of the
going to
motherfuckers who.
come.
That's
No one was going to go there and give it to him. He had to work for it.
But that's not what
That
most
is
of the people who
literally
use
my point.
but that's not what most of the people who
Sitting
use that
on your
saying say.
ass is not going to get you ahead.
And
Whether you like, whether
90% of
you
the
like,
people, 90%
okay,
of the people that use that saying like to pretend that they
okay.
literally built
I'm not
themselves
talking
up
about
by
90%. You're
themselves.
not talking to 90% of the people.
I get it. I'm talking to you, but you got to understand the
You
social
guys
part.
are fighting over an idiom. Come on now.
Well,
Is
I
it
mean,
pull
That is
yourself
my
up by
point.
your bootstraps? What they're
That's
fighting
funny,
over?
Chuck.
yes.
Yeah.
Look,
And
you
it's
and
not
I
really.
will
It's
just
not
have
really.
to
It's not really
disagree on
fighting.
that.
No,
It's not
you're
really.
right. You don't have to.
You and I will just have to disagree. I think sitting on your ass is not a solution. I think
Happy
getting
New
up
Year.
off your ass
Okay.
and being self-motivated is pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. Sorry, maybe there are better
Well,
ways to talk about self-motivation. Maybe I should have said self-motivation.
You definitely have to work for shit yourself. You have to put the effort in yourself. Right? There
Right.
is
But to
no
me,
getting around that.
that's to me, and forgive me, Dennison, when I say pull yourself up by your bootstraps, maybe I should have said self-motivation to satisfy the
Wait, Stanley,
non-wordsmith
can I get
Dennison.
in? I think
I
Stanley is
addressed both
correct.
meetings.
Stanley,
Go ahead, Joe. You got the floor.
if there is such a thing as pull yourself up by your bootstraps, then it means you got to get up and work. It should not mean that
That's
you don't do
literally what it
anything with
means.
everyone else. Of course, when you get up and work, you're gonna take your bottles and cans to someone else's store and get the money. Oh, you
Bottles
didn't
and
do it by
cans.
yourself.
What
I'm
the
just giving
fuck are you
analogies.
talking
But
about?
Joe,
Starting off basic.
Joe,
You kind of hold
Joe
on.
Cool,
You
Joe
cats
Cool,
been going at it.
don't
No,
do
no,
that.
no. I'll do it when you can get your shit
Joe
in, Stanley.
Cool, don't
Stanley,
be a
Stanley,
fool.
can you I love this shit. Fuck, you just made my day, in fact.
Good
You really
Lord.
did. But I'll still wait. Let me finish. Whatever it is that you do requires help. When you're helping yourself, you still go to someone else.
Well, hold
Well, all right,
on.
Stanley, it's not your fucking turn. Right?
No, but the
Yeah,
thing
no,
is
it's not.
I'm not
Okay, it's
saying
great that it's your
what does
thing. I
pulling
didn't
yourself
ask
up.
what
Look,
you were
This is what
saying.
okay.
I
Let him
didn't
make the
ask
point,
you
Stanley.
shit.
I
Damn.
literally agree
I
with you.
don't care what you literally said. It's
Okay,
not your
dude,
fucking turn to speak.
you are
It is
literally
not your
OG,
fucking
get
turn
a
to
hold.
speak, Stanley.
Gentlemen, let's calm down. Stanley, let's give Joe the
Wow.
floor. He's new here. I like the chaos, but the audience loves when two people talk at the same time. I'm kidding. They absolutely hate it. Stanley, let Joe's got the floor, and then you can have a rebuttal. All right.
What up
Go
to you,
ahead,
Joe?
Joe.
What's that
Welcome
dude?
to
What
the
up,
show.
Bill?
Yo.
All right, thanks, LG. And I'm just saying, whatever you do, pulling yourself by the bootstraps, of course, it means that you have to go somewhere and associate with another person to pull it off. It don't mean doing it alone. The name itself cannot mean what you guys are attributing to it, which means do everything alone. Otherwise, you're not
no, it
pulling
is.
yourself up by your bootstraps.
That's why it's a mocking. It's sarcastic. That's exactly what it means. Is doing things by yourself because that's impossible, and that's why it was being mocked with the very obvious, physically impossible task of pulling yourself up.
Okay, so I get it.
It's the whole point of the idiom.
Totally agree. What do you think it means now?
Stanley.
It still means the same thing, regardless of how Stanley uses it.
It is Stanley's response. Go ahead, Stanley. You got a response.
All I have to say is I didn't say no man is an island. If I said that, you might have a point. Pull yourself up from your bootstraps might mean going and having a mentor or in the Navy we used to call
Yes.
it hitching your wagon to a rising star. Dude, you do what you need to do. It might involve help. It might asking someone, hey, you know what? You've been where I want to go. Can you help? Of course. It includes being humble sometimes. Of course. I'm no man is an island. I know
So,
that.
so
Nothing to
Stanley,
do
do
to
you?
pull yourself up.
But he gave you like the history of the phrase,
Okay,
right? Like,
motherfucker, dude, no one on this panel knows history better than me. So don't
you didn't
give
even
me a
let me ask
history
you the
lesson.
question.
Wait,
You
I
didn't even
Stanley,
you didn't
I
even let me
don't
ask you the
suffer
question.
fools gladly.
Stanley. For one, I'm gonna say something. I was muted, but you got the floor as soon as I get through. Chuck went and got the way to end this, and I appreciate it, Chuck. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps means to succeed through your own hard work and self-reliance, but it originated as a sarcastic phrase for an impossible task, and that's all Dennison was trying to say about it. So,
And
No.
wait,
Dennison was not saying that.
rendered himself
That's
Yeah,
exactly what
yeah,
I was saying.
yeah.
It's
That's
No,
what
no, no,
Dennis was
no.
saying, Joe.
Dennison added
See,
more to it.
Dennison wants this. This is typical white boy shit.
Oh
Hey,
shit!
So we in B Braves room? This is
Here we
getting good.
go.
No,
Here we
it
go.
was. By the way, it was a joke.
Put him on the
This
single
one.
camera. Put him on the big screen.
all right, you got the floor, and then we're gonna move on
No,
back to the topic. What's up?
I mean you essentially Chuck put in that quote. That's essentially what I was going to say because even what Dennison said, right? Stanley is using it in a way that is not intentionally was initially meant to be, right? So that's all that I was getting to you. I wasn't going to give you a history lesson,
Do you
but the way that you're
understand that
using it, Stanley,
language
you got to be able to
evolves?
shut up for a second. He
Yeah,
said due
Stanley, you
diligence.
just can't shut the
I
fuck up.
literally don't like. You know what? It
Can you be quiet for like?
orthodox.
Let me.
It is Orthodox's panel. I will mute.
Yeah,
Appreciate
and it wasn't nothing that was derogatory towards you, right? Like it was nothing. Not to be condescending, but Dennison said the intention of that phrase is not the way that you're using it, and he gave you the history of it. He told you the man and
Dennison
no
literally
OG
does not
even came
understand
out. I thought
language.
you said you was gonna shut up.
No, you mentioned Dennison. If
All right.
Dennison
He
is your
cannot.
reference, then dude, you are up the creek without a paddle.
And
Well,
some
I'll
more
even tell you
bullshit.
what OG said. OG even came out and said that the guy who created the phrase came out and said that it was sarcastic, that he meant it to be sarcastic.
But it has a dual
I don't know if
meaning.
Stanley is disputing that part of it, right?
I
What does it mean
literally
nowadays?
think- I
That's
literally
what
think-
we're not addressing. Dennison is saying nowadays it has no
Dennison-
meaning.
Okay.
No, I can tell you what I'm saying, but you'll have to put Stanley backstage.
Yes,
He
Stanley,
won't
talk
let
to
me
the
say
fucking
it.
most. I would like to know, Dennison, what do you think the
All
phrase
right,
means
Dennison-
nowadays?
Dennison
Yo,
has the
listen.
floor
Put
every-
Hold on,
Stanley
Pharaoh.
backstage and then wait until I'm done.
I might have.
No.
I might
Listen-
have to, but
Then go fuck yourself.
Listen to the definition that Chuck already put up and was already read. It says it first. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps means, this is the modern current usage, to succeed through your own hard work and self-reliance. But it originated as a sarcastic phrase for an
That's not
impossible
100% accurate.
But
Please,
that's what
I'm
the
interested,
comment is
Dan.
saying.
Let's see
That's
what
the
Dan
comment
says.
is- But that's what the comment is saying. And if that's what we're agreeing on, it's the modern usage is through your own hard work and self-reliance.
Correct.
There's important connective tissue there that can be easily and briefly explained without interruption.
Okay.
So the whole reason why some people use it to mean self-reliance is because the very idea of success and self-reliance is an impossible task. Not only impossible, but it's a mockery, something that is visually and physically obviously impossible, like pulling yourself up. You can't do it. It's impossible. So there is a very important connection between the origin of the phrase and the ignorance on behalf of people who use it in the way that it was just used earlier on this panel.
Well, what's it mean nowadays, then, please?
No,
Alone. Hold
we're
on.
done. We're done. No,
Hold
we're done.
on. Hold
No,
on.
we're done with the definition talk. I let it go on because it's funny, but it is ultimately annoying. We're getting back to space. It's over. No, we're done. We're like AIs arguing with each other, bro.
Yeah, how the fuck did we get so off into the weed?
I don't know. You probably been weeding before I got here,
Because
but
of Denizen.
colloquially, if a motherfucker say, "Hey, Joe, stop being a bum. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps," everybody knows what it means. It doesn't mean that he's making fun of me and saying it's impossible. He's saying do a thing.
Right.
And I'm done.
It's
Put
like he
your
didn't even hear what I
effort
said.
by
Starship
the
will
sweat of
return
your
NASA
brow.
astronauts to the moon in this decade.
You hear that, Josh?
Elon Musk and his crew at Starbase are working at ludicrous speed to develop the largest, most powerful, and most capable vehicle that has ever been launched into space. Meanwhile, NASA is preparing a roadmap to achieve the first permanent outpost on the lunar surface. When these two join forces on Artemis 3, we will land on the moon.
He's
It
confident.
won't be easy.
We've
There are some
scrubbed it like
things that
3
are only
times
worth
already,
doing
but he's
because they
confident.
are hard. And this is how it happens.
Artemis 2 is scheduled for this year, which is strictly a manned flight around the moon and back, which is what Artemis 2 is.
Large language models are LLMs, by the way, D. But no, like I just appreciate the shit out of Elon for this. All right, I just want to put that out there. Thank you, Elon, for space travel.
Because why? You like just into that thing,
Propaganda.
No, I absolutely love that he threw a Roman. There you go, Joe. You got what you want. No, I'm just kidding. I love I love space travel, man. I really hope to God to see it in my lifetime.
My man, then can I assume that you've spent some time looking at the rover footage on Mars and all that shit?
Yes.
Okay, I'm about to say you're missing out if you haven't, man.
No, dude, I love space. Like space exploration is one of the reasons that I love science.
Every person on the history, you got to imagine at some point, certainly every man, maybe not every woman, has looked up in the stars and wondered what's up there. We are the first people to get a camera up there in color.
Alien Jesus and God are up there with the aliens.
If a woman is thinking about space and not making me a sandwich, I'm gonna be very angry. No, I'm just kidding. I want to be beaten now.
Well, in fact, Artemis 2 is supposed to have a woman and a person of color aboard.
You do know that Artemis was a female Roman goddess, right?
I didn't know where Artemis came
Oh,
from.
come on,
I thought it was from.
Let's not go there.
I thought it was from the Wild Wild West.
Artemis, literally the goddess of the hunt.
Throw the dictionary out the window. Oh,
Wild Wild West. Artemis Gordon and Jim West.
There
Who
you
cares
go.
what words mean?
The master of disguises.
There you
Let's
go.
talk about some factors that make this next moon landing different from the Apollo mission of the late 60s and early 70s. Because typically, the first...
This is AI
This is
propaganda.
This is not what I thought it was.
The mission that they're talking, I've looked into it a bit. They're talking about like 8 stages of refueling and building a base so that they can permanently be there. They're not just trying to go there and touch down. Maybe they'll have to do that first, but their plans include
that's what
permanent
But
shit.
the people don't stay there though.
Yeah, the people don't stay.
The infrastructure stays there. The people get swapped out.
I was about to say, I imagine they're gonna be swapping niggas in and out.
Yeah. And that's the thing, and that's just NASA's plan. SpaceX plan, like the private plans are much better. Like the Chinese don't really I can't speak on it. The Chinese don't really have a
SpaceX
good
is
plan.
working with the government, trust me.
They're working.
They they are, but they're doing two different projects.
Ain't
Right. Artemis is
SpaceX?
NASA. SpaceX has
Yeah,
its own.
Artemis is and they're using the NASA. They're using SpaceX boosters for Artemis for the Artemis projects.
I do believe it was
SpaceX,
SpaceX who had the idea that they're going to build refueling stations to that orbit because the rockets they're talking about are so big now that they want to be able to, once they get them up, refuel them and probably do the same thing on the moon. We're talking about a huge endeavor that they're talking
yeah,
about.
yeah. You missed it because we were talking. I made the comment to Josh because he was saying that this wouldn't be able to be done for several generations. Like they're building the infrastructure. Like these SpaceX Heavy booster, once they get it to where it's working and it's a good product that they can
Yeah.
continuously use, they're going to make different variants for moving people, for moving like basically like we have flatbed trucks and tanker trucks. They're going to be moving different products and different resources for logistics, which is going to
Right. That's
lead
the
to
plan. Right.
before we ever go to the moon. They might be telling you they're going to go to the moon and they might be dreaming big, but before we ever set foot on the moon to build a permanent state, there's going to be storage facilities, research stations, and manufactories built built in orbit, both
Yeah, I was
around
about
Earth.
to. Yeah, there'll probably
It's
be
going to
some
be
pretty sophisticated shit up there other than the ISS
yeah,
for
they're not
refueling and shit.
they're not going to go straight to the moon because you can't. It's not profitable. It's you can't move that shit there. It's crazy.
Yeah. And if you think about the way they did it the first time, they weren't planning on bringing weight. Every piece of weight that you take up there, whether it be a family photo or something, it's like you got to weigh it in gold because that's how expensive it is. It's like your photo costs as much as gold to get it up there because of that little bitty amount of weight. So I had the opposite approach about weight. They wanted as little as possible because, and just that little capsule touch on, just enough fuel touch off. This is not what these people are talking about.
Yeah, they're talking about the officialization and the privatization of space, and that is something that I truly wish and hope for. But, ladies and gentlemen, I am reaching my 2 hour mark, and I'm at my homie's house. I'm on my desktop, so at the 2 hour mark, we're going to end it. And since we have a full panel, I'm thinking it's
Twitter.
going to take about 4 minutes. Yeah, I gotta quit. I want to go hang out with my homie, and then I got to take Tucker out as well.
Optics are high. Optics are high. Audio's low. Be blessed.
Thank you. Anybody else? Before we do final thoughts, I'm going to say this. I'm going to do one more grift. Please consider donating to the GoFundMe. I've had several issues. I've had several issues happen. I had a house fire. That's what the GoFundMe is for. We're going to be making content out of it so it's transparent. You know where the money's going. And if you can't donate, please share. If you don't want to donate, please share. If you do donate, thank you. Let's get some final thoughts in there. Ziba, I don't know how to say your name, but my Ziba, you can go first because you didn't get a chance to speak. We got any final thoughts in regards to what we've been talking about this whole time?
Not really, but like, fuck Somalians.
Fair enough, I guess. All right, Josh, you got any final thoughts?
Yeah, fuck everybody that's like a techie that wants more technology, right? I'm laying claim that they hate their fucking traditions and they want the face of what our culture is to ultimately change to something else. Progressive fuckers.
Fair enough, thank you. Do you got any final thoughts?
Yeah, I think real men understand that with immense wealth and power, there lies big responsibility, right? And if if man is facing in extinction on many fronts, then you have the responsibility to make a backup plan for men. I think that's what real men do, regardless of all the negative that could be associated with it. You do it for the greater good, and I think real men understand that.
Well said, dude. Well said. Thank you for coming up. Dennis, Stanley, you got any final thoughts?
Yeah. Do you mind if I take your your link, and I'll do the grifting thing on my show for you too.
I don't mind, and I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Oh,
Anybody
absolutely.
else
I
who
had a
wants to
good
do
time.
that, I'm glad you did. I had a great time I had a great time talking with you as well.
So, talk to y'all later.
Well,
Chuck,
thank you for coming up. Stanley.
Salute, Chuck. Good to see you.
All right, Stanley.
All right, thank you for coming up, sir. Dennison, you got any final thoughts, good sir?
Technology is tradition.
Bingo. Yes. Chuck, you got any final thoughts, good sir? My official unofficial co-host.
I hate to say it though, but a flip of a switch and nobody's got internet. It's just that easy. But I hope we do succeed in some new adventures, because I think we can do both at the same time. Worry about the world and explore elsewhere. There's no reason we can't. We got the people, we got the know-how. So there's no reason they can't do both at the same time. And remember, if nobody's told you they love you today, I love you.
Awesome. Thank you, Chuck. This has been an awesome show. I love these. I want to do more shows like these that are positive, that talk about things that I enjoy, that are fun, that aren't just drama. And I'm going to do a lot more. And as you can see, it does get heated. And that level of heat, I think, is okay. I do have to get better at managing it, because I don't want the panelists to get mad at each other and get angry and leave angry. I want them to be able to challenge one another on what they say and what they think. But I think that this has been very fun. I think that it has been a very spicy meatball. But I love and appreciate you guys. Thank you for the support that I've had for the past 8 months. And I think we kicked off the new year with a really awesome show with really good people. And thank you, panel, for coming up. The thing is, it's wonderful, wonderful, and it makes me happy that we kicked off the stop it. That's crazy. Stop it, Chuck. No, that's crazy. Don't encourage him. But I'm having a blast entertaining you guys. And if you think we should talk about more topics, you can hit me up on Discord. You can join the Discord. I love and appreciate all of you. Thank you for being here, and I will see you on the next one. Oh, wait, hold on. You have a choice in every interaction and action, whether to tilt the world towards heaven or hell, utopia or dystopia. Great show, G. Much love and strength to you all. Thank you very, very much. I love and appreciate all of you. Y'all have a wonderful night. Let's keep it positive, and let's go into the new year and do great things in our lives and for the world. Y'all have a wonderful time. Spend some time with your family. Tell them you love them if you haven't. And God bless.
Starlight outlaw, cosmic soldier, give me space and